friends, how are you today? My name is Elizabeth and welcome back to my channel. I am not feeling 100% today, but I wanted to do this video and so we'll see how it goes. So I've decided to try and do a theme for the days for what I talk about on specific days. And I've decided I want Mondays to be Mystery Mondays, because I really enjoy mysteries. And today I want to talk about the Mary Celelste. And I'm going to be doing something a little different with my foundation today. Something I haven't done in a while. I'm not sure how it's going to go, but we'll see how it goes. I'm mixing a couple different foundations. But anyway, so the Mary Celelste was a ship that was launched. Actually, it was originally launched in 1861 under the name of the Amazon. And this ship has had a bit of a shadowy past, including the sudden and mysterious death of its first captain, and a few other things, and it changed hands. The sudden mysterious death of its first captain and colliding with another ship in the English Channel. It changed hands quite a few times until it was bought in... Actually, I'm not sure what year it was bought, but it was bought by a consortium of individuals, including... Sorry, I've got to make sure I get these names right. Including James H. Winchester and Benjamin Spooner Briggs, and a number of other individuals, but apparently those were the important ones. I need a little more. And this ship launched on. So after these individuals bought the ship, okay, let me get my thoughts together. You can do this. All right. You like my little pep talk there? So they bought it in 1872. And on November 7th, 1872, Briggs and a crew of 7 people, as well as his wife Sarah, and their 2-year-old daughter Sophia, left from New York. And they were going to sail to Genoa, Italy. And their cargo was 1,701 barrels of poisonous denatured alcohol. Well, on December 5th, wait. Did I get that date wrong? No, they set sail from New York on November 7th. But another ship, the De Gracia, I'm not sure exactly how to say that. I'll post the name after, but the De Gracia, I think is how you say that. They set sail from New York. They set sail from New Jersey on November 15th. And so around the same time that Mary Celelste set sail. And they were traveling along the same route. Well, on December 5th of 1872, just kidding, on December 4th of 1872, a crew member spotted the Mary Celelste, and it was heading towards them in an unsteady manner. So the captain and crew became concerned because the ship was not responding to hails, or I feel like that's, maybe I'm letting my Star Trek show, but they were not, because it was in an unsteady manner, they suspected that something was wrong. So they tried hailing the ship, if that's what that called. If that's what that is called. I feel like that's what that is called. But maybe not. Anyway, you get the gist. So they tried hailing the ship, and they became concerned when nobody was answering their summons. So the captain of the whatever that word is, was David Morehouse, and he became concerned. David Morehouse, right? Yes, David Morehouse. And he became concerned, so he prepared a boarding party, and they went over to the ship. Well, what did they find when they got there? Nothing. There was no one on the ship. It was still in pretty good condition, though. It was still seaworthy. There was about a meter of water it had taken on, but apparently that was not unusual for ships of that size. And there was, the one lifeboat was gone, and one of the pumps was disabled. There was still a 6-month supply of food and water, and 9 of the barrels of alcohol were empty. So where's the crew? And all the crews and all their belongings are still there. But there is otherwise no sign of the crew. So what happened? But the De Gracia, the crew of the De Gracia, Gracia, something like that. They boarded the ship. They boarded the ship and found nobody on board. And so they split into 2 groups, and they proceeded to, and the log of the ship showed that the last log of the ship was on the 25th of November, and there wasn't really any sign that anything had been wrong. So the ship was adrift for 9 days and had traveled 500 miles. It basically was sailing itself before the crew of this other ship found them. And what was I looking for? That's what I was looking for. So the crew and the paperwork, and also the ship's paperwork, was missing. But other than that, the crew's belongings, everything was intact. Everything was there. There were just no people on board the ship. There was really no sign of foul play either, because the ship was still in pretty good condition. And so the ship's crew, and it just looked like the Captain Briggs had ordered a departure from the ship, but for what reason? they didn't know. So the crew split into two, and they took the ship and they went to, they took the ship back to Gibraltar so that the crew of the other ship, whose name I can't say apparently, could claim salvage rights, which means they found the ship, they'd get some money for it, because the company hadn't, because the ship was still okay. Well, the commission, or I think it's called the court hearing was conducted by a man named Frederick Solly Flood. Frederick Solly Flood. And he jumped to the conclusion that a crime had been committed, because it's just not every day that you see a ship just floating with no sign of foul play or anything. The people just gone. And you know what? I feel like you can't really blame him for jumping to that conclusion, because if it was me, I'd think that was pretty suspicious too, quite honestly. So he conducted a 3-month investigation, but in this 3 months, they really weren't able to find any evidence that there had been any foul play, because he suspected the crew of the De Gracia had done something to these other crewmen, but he couldn't find. But in the end, after those 3 months, they really couldn't find any evidence that they had done anything to them. So they were given they were given some money. It was insured for $46,000, but they were only given about 1/6 of that, because because Mr. Flood still suspected that some foul play had happened. Well, what did happen to the Mary Celeste? There are multiple theories about what happened, and let me tell you about some of them. One theory is mutiny. They think that one theory is that the crew drank some of the alcohol, the 9 barrels that were missing, and mutinied. But I don't know. Personally, I don't think that one is very likely what happened, because they knew, because it was denatured alcohol. It is not fit for human consumption. And the crew knew this. So I feel like if they had gone to that drastic step, they probably would have been pretty, they would have been pretty desperate. Oh, and the captain of the Mary Celeste was a seasoned captain. So again, there wasn't really a big sign of why he had suddenly decided to abandon ship. But I forgot to prep my eyelids. Oh well. So one theory is that the crew drank the alcohol and decided to mutiny, which personally I don't think happened. But one thing that fueled this theory is they found some stains on the deck that originally looked like blood stains. But after investigating it a little more, they found it was just normal wear and tear. So that theory becomes less likely. And another theory is piracy. That perhaps pirates had boarded and taken out the crew. But again, there really wasn't any sign of foul play or violence. So, and pirates by definition aren't really gonna leave. Well, I feel like there would be more of a sign that pirates had been there, and I feel like pirates also would have just taken the ship. They wouldn't have left it adrift. Maybe I'm wrong, but I feel like that's how pirates work. I think I need to study pirates more. But I feel like if it had been pirates, there would have been a sign of bloodshed, more sign of bloodshed. And I should probably start doing my eyes before I put foundation on again. Oh well, do the best we can. Not again. So yeah, that so I don't think it was pirates, and I think they pretty much rule out pirates as well. Because there is just no proof. And there's also a theory that Briggs and Winchester, who were the two major buyers of the ship, had decided to to attempt an insurance scam. But again, there's really not any proof that that happened either. And because they wouldn't have, if they were trying to do an insurance scam, they wouldn't have created a scenario that caused so much attention, because this caused a lot of attention. Because it's just really not every day that you see a totally abandoned ship that still has food, all the crew's belongings are still there, but there is no sign of the crew. There's another theory. Are you guys ready for this? I think it's my favorite theory so far. Alien abduction. I think that's what happened. I think the aliens definitely beamed them up. No, I really don't think that's what happened, but I mean, come on, it had to be mentioned, because it's a weird situation. Oof. And another theory is a fear of alcohol explosion. Some people think that maybe some of the alcohol leaked and maybe blew the hatch off, but the hatch was still intact when they found the main hatch was still intact for the main hatch of the cargo hold was still intact when they found the ship. So, and because I think that maybe one theory is that maybe the hatch had blown and the captain could smell the fumes, and so he was afraid that it was gonna blow. But again, the hatch was still intact when they found it. So that one's not too likely either. But that is probably the most likely explanation. But because Briggs was an experienced captain, so if he ordered the crew and everybody off of the ship, there had to be a pretty good explanation for such a seasoned captain to just suddenly abandon the ship in the middle of nowhere and have and just disappear. I was gonna say, but also when the 9 barrels of alcohol that were leaking, or that fueled the crew drunk the alcohol theory. Well, the 9 barrels that leaked were made out of white oak, or was it red oak? Hold on. All right, okay. So the 9 alcohol barrels that leaked were made out of red oak, and the rest were made out of white oak. And red oak is a wood that is more likely to leak than white oak. So that's probably the explanation for the 9 barrels that leaked, or the 9 barrels that were empty, that they had just leaked over time. Or actually, I feel like that was actually a pretty fast leakage, because it was found 9 days after the last log. But anyway, but the most likely theory of what happened is it was faulty. Hold on. Stop it. Sorry. Hold on. I got this. No. It was most likely okay, I'm back. So the most likely explanation of what happened was faulty instruments. There is a documentarian, Anne McGregor, who she actually made a documentary about it back in 2007. And she believes that Briggs thought that they were off course, and he thought that they were around 120 miles west of or was around 120 miles west of where it actually was, because he had a faulty chronometer. And so the day before he reached the Azores, had changed directions, probably in a bid to reach where he was supposed to be. Because he had the faulty equipment, and so where he thought he wasn't where he really was. So maybe and back to the the pump that had been disassembled. So before this load of denatured alcohol that the crew had was transporting, the ship had been transporting coal. And so coal dust probably got into this pump and made it stop working, which was why they found it disassembled. Also, on the way across the ocean, the journey had not been easy. They had a lot of rough seas, and they had about 2 weeks of rough seas that they had to contend with. And so it was a rough journey. But so maybe the captain thought that the ship could sink at any time, And again, he was I've said this a few times, but he was a seasoned captain. So if he did order them to abandon ship, he must have had a pretty good reason, right? Not, but so even if it was rough seas, it would have had to be really, really rough seas for him to order them to abandon ship. And you know what? I might almost get done with this before I run out of things to talk about today. So that's exciting. But yeah, so Anne, oh shoot, what's her name? Anne, dang it, McGregor? Yeah, Anne McGregor believes that the reasoning that they abandoned because of a faulty chronometer and because of a faulty chronometer, and he thought he was miles away from where he was supposed to be. And honestly, that probably is the most likely explanation, because the ship, another explanation would have been that the ship wasn't seaworthy, but the ship was seaworthy. The ship was fine. Again, when they found it, it was a little beaten up, but it had just been adrift for 9 days without anybody crewing it. So I feel like it's to be expected that it would have been a little bit beat up. Another theory was, I think it was, this kind of goes along with the theory. There was actually a book or a story, I believe, that was written about this, story. I don't remember what it was called right now, but I will find it and I will post it. I think the story, there was a 1935 film that was made that suggested it was a pirate, I believe. Oh no, it was a homicidal sailor that was portrayed in the 1935 film. But again, there's just not a lot of evidence to support that. And so they make my cheeks a little brighter today, apparently. Anyway, so sorry, I'm trying not to let too much not too much dead music or dead sound. One day, guys, I will get the hang of this, I promise. I feel like I have improved a little bit, so yay me. But, eyebrows. But what happened to the crew? Because this crew was never heard from again. And they're really, but again, this was like over 140 years ago. So we will probably never know what happened to the crew. Unless some descendants come forward or something, maybe and I hope this is what happened. I hope that, maybe something scared the captain. Maybe he thought that the ship was gonna have a fire because of the alcohol, because of the leaking alcohol or something, and so he ordered them to abandon ship. I hope that if that's what happened, that they were able to get to a safe place and were able to live happy lives or live out their lives happily. But again, I wonder if that did happen, why they never got in touch with anybody. Hold on just a sec. I mean, would they have gotten in trouble for abandoning the ship? Because would they have, I mean, maybe back then it was a lot stricter, and I don't know, maybe even today you'd probably get in trouble for abandoning a ship. I don't know, I should look that up. But why never let anybody know if they were okay, or anything? Maybe they just needed a fresh start away from everything. I really don't know. And again, we'll probably never know what actually happened to them, but I do hope that they're okay. That they ended up living long, happy lives wherever they ended up. Because I like the ideas of everybody of people having happily ever afters. And I don't feel like these people were terrible people or anything, or that they had any deep, dark secrets, or who knows. Maybe they did, and maybe that's why they disappeared. You know, again, we'll never know. Where's that third one? Yes. Using a new mascara today. Oof. And in her documentary, I think Anne McGregor even tested out her theory about what could happen, and she really wasn't able to prove what had happened, but that is the most likely theory of what had happened, because there is no proof. And it was such a long time ago that you really can't prove it. You can have good theories about what happened, but unless you know for sure, which unfortunately we just don't. But what was I gonna say? But hopefully, and the ship continued to have a rather sordid life after this. I think it went through like 12 more owners before the last captain finally crashed the ship into crash landed the ship in an attempt to create a insurance fraud. And so thus ended the life, the boat, the Mary Celelste. I don't know. Do you call it the life of a boat? Maybe. But thus ended the Mary Celelste after the captain crashed her. She was done. And I believe they did not successfully defraud the insurance company, so that's good. But yeah, so that is the story of the Mary Celelste. And we don't know what happened. It's a mystery. I'm gonna go finish my lips and I'll be right back to finish up. Alright friends, that's that done. I hope you enjoyed seeing me do this little bit of a peachy look. I like this look. I think it's pretty great, and I'm gonna finish it off in a little bit with Too Faced Peach lip gloss, because all peachy looks should smell like peaches, right? I love the smell of peaches, fresh peaches, even artificial peach. I really like peaches. Anyways, so I hope you enjoyed. I had fun today, and I hope you did too. I enjoyed finding out about the Mary Celelste. Quite an interesting story. What do you guys think happened? Was it aliens? Do you think it was aliens? Or was it just faulty equipment and the captain ordered them to abandon ship? Who knows? Let me know what you think down below. And remember to always be patient and kind when interacting with people. Everyone has a story and we don't know it. So always be patient and kind, and have an awesome Monday, and I will see you next time. Bye!